So people told me that in America, it's so common that you work 2 or 3 jobs to survive.
Deodorant is $11 here.
Isn't it fascinating that one of the first things that happened because of this red note cultural exchange between people in China and people in America is that they finally realized how effing expensive everything here is?
We pay taxes for food. We pay taxes for gas. We pay taxes to pay our taxes. Like, it just don't make sense.
And I want to say that I lived a pretty comfortable life over there.
This American dream that we're supposed to be living is not the American dream.
The truth about China is coming to light. As more people migrate to Red Note after the TikTok ban, they're discovering the reality of a country they've been misinformed about for years. This unexpected journey is opening eyes and changing perspectives. Let's dive into how this shift is revealing the real China.
No homeless people in China, because in China, even though you are very poor, like you're a very poor person, and even though that, your parents maybe have an old house inside the countryside. They have an old apartment inside the city somehow. And that house, that apartment, just paying zero tax to the government. We Chinese, we do not have property tax, housing tax. We also do not have a car tax. Like every year you need to renew a tag on your license in the United States, paying $250 something. No such thing. Once we own the car, we own the house, just no tax. We only pay tax when we buy it for one time. Okay, such like my apartment, $70,000. When I buy it, I only pay one time 1% of the tax.
Since this TikTok or refugee situation, few things that you guys have told us did really shocked me. One, it's about the jobs. So people told me that in America, it's so common that you work 2 or 3 jobs to survive. I mean, not for a decent, good quality life, but to survive. Second, it's about the property tax. I mean, I'm not even sure if I remember the name correct or not. So basically, it's after you buy a apartment, after you paid it off, you will still have to pay tax or whatever fee like every year. And if you unfortunately lost your job or you got sick, you cannot keep paying it, you're gonna lose your apartment. I mean, then what's the meaning of buying? Third, this is probably a extreme example. There was one American shared on Rednote about once he has caught an ambulance and he paid $3,000 for the ambulance car. I mean, you know what? A return flight from American to China is about $1,500. $3,000 for ambulance? Fourth is about the colleague fee. There was one viewer in my live stream and he said he's been graduated like 17 years from his colleague and he is still paying the money back. I mean, I don't know what's the name of this fee, but he's still paying it back. 17 years. Let's say you graduated when you were like 23 years old. In 17 years, you're like 40. That's more or less like half of your life. I'm really not sure, are those like common or just a few extreme examples?
My life has been a lie. So what is this American dream that we've been chasing? After being on the Rednote app, I'm just like, our country is crap. Like, and we have always been told we live in the greatest country in the world. America is the greatest, and yada, yada, yada. But none of us ever question, so what's the deal with all this poverty and the expensive medical bills and just everything, like the cost of living, people not even being able to get by on 2 jobs, people getting sick. We never questioned it. And we thought this was the greatest country. And then we've been exposed to Rednote. And I need to move to China. Like, I'm depressed. I am depressed. Like, how is this even life? And this is what they don't want us to know. Like, they didn't want us to be exposed to that. How China is like so much better. And they're so nice. Like, I can't with my life right now.
So now we know why America didn't want us to see what was going on in China. And if you don't know, head on over to Xiaohongshu and check out those grocery hauls. Rednote. Go to Rednote and check out their grocery hauls. And if that's not a slap in the face for you, look at how much they spend on healthcare. Look at how much they spend on rent. We looking like a big joke in America. And if you want to get technical, somebody that just started using Rednote from America asked one of the Chinese people to tell them a joke. And you know what they said? Americans think that they're free, and we're really not. That hurt on every type of level that can hurt on. Are you serious? It makes sense now why they want to ban apps, why they don't want us knowing certain things. Look how these people are living over there, and then look at us. And not saying that that place is better than over here, because I wouldn't say so. But what I'm saying is, look how we have to go so hard over here. Minimum wage is how much? $7.25. Who can live on minimum wage in the United States? I'll wait. We don't own no land in the United States. Shit, we don't own anything in the United States. Scrolling through, seeing another video. This guy said he is spending $80 a month for rent. 80 United States dollars a month for rent. Oh, man. Yeah, this shit is way bigger than a TikTok ban. Way bigger. America, you got some explaining to do. We want to know something.
Deodorant is $11. Here.
Isn't it fascinating that one of the first things that happened because of this red note cultural exchange between people in China and people in America is that they finally realized how effing expensive everything here is relative to other places in the world? And I'm here honestly about to make you way, way, way mad, because Europe has had these prices forever because they actually have a working government that controls what are considered essential goods and keeps them at acceptable prices. And I come with receipts. I took this footage when I was visiting Germany over the holidays because it just shocks me every single time I see it. All these menstrual products, organic, specialty menstrual products, do you see the prices? They start with 1s, 2s, 3s, 4, even the period underwear, which is a reusable item, is $14. That was the most expensive item I found on these shelves. Even these super packs of 48 tampons are €5.95, €4.95. It is extremely affordable versus here in the US. I also noticed that most of these boxes did not have plastic applicators. In fact, you can't buy tampons in the US without plastic applicators in the stores anymore, because that's what everyone needs right now, more plastic. In comparison, I found some screenshots of similar products, all with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in front. Menstrual cups, not $8, no, 20, 30, 40, 50. And don't even get me started on diapers. My child no longer uses them, but it just boils my blood to see how expensive it is, on top of everything else being more expensive here in the US. So I'm pretty happy that people are finally wising up to this and hopefully can demand change from these multi-million-dollar corporations who have no problem pricing things reasonably in other countries, just not here.
I'm Chinese, and I keep seeing a lot of people in here talking about that they're on Rednote and then starting to realize how cheap and affordable to live in China, or China is completely different than what they think from the news in America. Let me tell you, that is exactly what I think when I first come to America. I was born and raised in China, and I grew up with 2 Chinese magazines, Yilin and Duzhe. I have never come to America until I was 17 years old. So when I was young, the impressions I have to America completely depending on those 2 magazines, because they frequently post about story about America and Americans. And because I've never been there, I believe in those stories. And let me tell you, now I have lived in America for over a decade. Those stories are so wrong and ridiculous. Here are some of the popular stories about America on those magazines back then. Let me translate a few for you guys. The first one, any life is important. This story said a bird was trapped on a high voltage power line in America. Somebody saw it and then immediately called the police. And then the police called White House and alerted the president. And the president immediately decided to shut down the national power line. So the entire country, the entire United States is shut down. No power, just to save this little bird. At the end, they even say that any great country would stop for anybody's life, even just a little bird. That is why United States is a great country. Here's the second one. It's called 4:30 a.m. It basically said when it is 4:30 a.m., when Chinese students still sleep, the greatest people on earth, the students from Harvard, are still studying. This is what it looked like in one of the library in Harvard University. Many students still there at 4:30 a.m. studying. And that is why America is a great country. I grew up watching those stories. And not just me, hundreds, thousands, millions people watching those stories. So the America dream kind of root in our mind at a really young age. And that is why I chose America when I decided to study abroad. But when I finally moved to America, I realized that none of those stories are true. Don't get me wrong, I still enjoy living in America. But the America I live right now is not the America that I grew up listening to story from. And the same thing is happening in Rednote. A lot of Americans realize that the China they learn from news or story is not the real China. The real China is what look like on Rednote. And finally, both parties has fact check each other's side. That's why I love and welcome anybody come to Rednote, because you can learn the truth from here by normal people.
So I've been on Rednote since 7 a.m. and I have been lied to my whole entire life. The Chinese do not hate us. They do not live in a third world country. They really do not have it rough. This American dream that we're supposed to be living is not the American dream. They are so boggled how bad we get taxed. Once they own their car, they own it. They don't have to pay property tax. They don't have to pay tag tax. Once they own their house, it's theirs. Their land is theirs. They're open to plant their own fresh gardens. We will never own anything here. We will be taxed on it for the rest of our lives. And the cost of their food over there, I mean, it is just mind-boggling. I watched a man go into a fresh market and get 4 chicken breasts for $1.60. And then watched him go over to the beef side and get really good cut of beef for $2.60. And he got like 4 slabs. And they diced it up and cut it for him. Same with the chicken. You can buy a vehicle over there for less than $10,000. Brand new. They have subsidy programs to help you have low interest rates and help you with your payment on your house. And if you buy your house within 2 years, you get it for interest free. Their loan process is 5 years, and you can own your house in 5 years. And your interest rates are like 1 to 3%. My car note is like 10%. And I had to work 3 jobs just to be able to afford a used new car for $6,000. And yet our government is trying to convince us that we are living the American dream when they make so much money over there that they got more money than they can spend, he basically said. They can travel. They can be able to afford their life and live happily, healthy, and longer. But yet we're living the American dream. Someone makes sense. I love my TikTok, but I am so happy I found Rednote because they have literally welcomed us with open arms, and I am learning so much. And I really want to move to China.
Okay, so y'all really getting rid of TikTok, huh? So we're going over to Rednote. Where are we going? Anybody speak Mandarin? Anybody? Okay. Here goes the crazy part for me. So many people, their livelihood depends on this app, whether they're a small business or a content creator. And for the Supreme Court and all the people it had to go past to be voted on or really be implemented to be a ban is crazy work to me. Because there are so many other important things to be worried about. There's so many, like, the government is like, are y'all trolling us? There's so many things to be worried about. We can't get normal things passed. But y'all literally just upheld a ban for an app that people are using to make money learning things. I learned so much off TikTok. It's crazy. And it's like, that's what's important to y'all. This isn't a security breach. This is, TikTok ain't the breach. Okay. There's so many other things, meta things that are happening that could be the breach. But TikTok, that's crazy to me. So what's next, y'all?
So I downloaded Rednote and I looked up these things that people were saying about China, and I had to see it for myself because I couldn't believe that it was actually affordable living somewhere, and somewhere that you couldn't have to pay taxes all the time. I had to see that for myself. I had to see that. So you mean to tell me in China, once you buy your house, it's yours. You ain't got to pay taxes on it. You ain't got to pay monthly on it. It's yours. And it just sounds crazy to me because in America, you don't own nothing. You don't own nothing in America. Everything we pay taxes on. We pay taxes for food. We pay taxes for gas. We pay taxes to pay our taxes. Like it just don't make sense. And then they tax us on the income that we make for ourselves to live. If you really think about it, it's an oligarchy, bro. It's like we not really living for real. We living to pay bills. But they want to convince you in America that if you just work and grind and don't take no days off. I never believed in that crap. I never believed in that. I believe you gotta rest, because how you gonna be mentally right if you don't get no rest? You know? People talking about, yeah, you gotta work, man. I work 10 hours. I work 14 hours. That ain't right, man. Your body wasn't made to work like that. America, y'all got to remember, was built off of the backs of slaves. It was built off the back of free labor. This is why they want to put people in prison so fast. This is why they want to lock you up for any little thing, so they can get that free labor again, so they can pay you 15 cents, 10 cents, and all that crap. It's all a part of the machine. It's all a part of the system. In China, man, they taking care of their people. They groceries is cheap out there. They paying like 10, 15 cents for vegetables and stuff like that. Why you think they all healthy out there? Why you think they skin look good? Cause they can actually pay and afford things out there. When you can afford your life, that take like 80% of stress off of you. The average American that's 30 years old got gray hair. They got all gray in their hair. Like, it's crazy, bro. Like, it's crazy. Then you got these CEOs. These CEOs that they want to make you think that you can get to where they at, but you never gonna get to where they at. You see Zuckerberg, you don't see him sitting behind no desk. You don't see the Amazon CEO sitting behind no desk. You will never see these people sitting behind the desk. They out there taking vacations with your money and your hard work, and they laughing and they telling you that you can get where they at one day if you just put in the work. And it's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. The average person in America will never see wealth in their lifetime. They only gonna see debt. And when you think about it, it's people out there that's dying trying to pay bills, and it's the saddest thing in the world. It is.
Thanks for watching. We've uncovered the truth behind the misinformation about China, as many people moved to Rednote after the TikTok ban. It's been an eye-opening journey, revealing the real China and challenging old perceptions. If you found this video enlightening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content that dives deep into today's most intriguing topics. Stay tuned for our next episode. And until then, keep questioning and discovering. See you next time.